Ever feel like your English sounds a little robotic? Like you're translating directly from your own language? Well, today we're going to fix a big piece of that. We're diving into a simple tool that native speakers use constantly, without even thinking about it: adverbs of frequency. Getting these right is one of the fastest ways to make your everyday conversations sound so much more natural. So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the basic question these words are designed to answer. Then, we'll get into the two main types, the exact ones and the general ones. After that, we'll crack the code on where to actually put them in a sentence, which can be tricky. We'll explore the whole spectrum, from always to never, and wrap up by showing you how to dodge the most common mistakes. Stick with me, and you'll be using these like a pro. Okay, let's start at square one. To really get adverbs of frequency, we first have to understand the one simple question they exist to answer. And trust me, it's a question we ask and answer all day, every day. No, really, think about it for a second. How often do you check your phone? Is it constantly? Every few minutes? Sometimes? Rarely? Whatever word just popped into your head to answer that, well, that's an adverb of frequency. See? This isn't some dusty old grammar rule. It's literally how we talk about our daily lives. So here's the official textbook definition, but don't let the word adverb throw you off. It's just a fancy label. All you need to remember is that these words answer one simple question: how often? Think of them as the color you add to a sentence to paint a picture of your habits and your routines. All right, so we know what they are. But here's the thing: not all adverbs of frequency are the same. They basically fall into two big groups, one for when you need to be super precise, and the other for when you're just giving a general idea. And this slide right here is the key difference. On one side, you've got definite frequency. Think of these as specific, like an appointment in your calendar. On the other side, you've got indefinite frequency, which is much more about the vibe, the general pattern of things. So let's zoom in on definite frequency. These are your words of precision. They give you the hard data, every day, once a month, twice a year. There's no guesswork. If you say, I go to the gym 3 times a week, that's a fixed, measurable schedule. It's exact. Now, let's flip to the other side, indefinite frequency. And honestly, these are probably the ones you're using the most. Words like always, usually, sometimes, never. They're less about specific numbers and more about the general habit. When we say he always drinks coffee in the morning, we're not counting every single morning of his life. We just mean it's a really, really strong habit. Okay, now for the big one. This is the part that trips up so many English learners. Where in the world do you put these words in a sentence? It can feel a little random at first, but I promise, there are 3 golden rules. And once you see the pattern, you'll get it right every time. Here they are. The first rule is for most normal verbs. The adverb comes before the verb. Simple enough. But, and this is a big but, the verb to be is special. It always does its own thing. So for is, am, are, the adverb comes after. And finally, if your sentence has a helping verb like have or will, the adverb just squeezes right in between the helper and the main verb. Let's see these rules in action. Look at the first one. I always wake up early. Wake is a normal verb, so always comes right before it. Easy. But the next one, she is always on time. See that? The verb is, so always comes after. And in that last example, they have never been to London. Never is sandwiched right between the helper have and the main verb been. It's a really consistent pattern once you get the hang of it. So, you know the two types, and you know where to put them. The next level is choosing the perfect word. How do you decide between saying often versus usually, or sometimes versus rarely? Well, let's look at the whole spectrum.
It's a great question, right? Because my idea of sometimes might be your often. And while it's not an exact science, there are some general guidelines that everyone kind of agrees on. We can actually map them out on a scale from 0 to 100%.
And here is that scale. Think of it like this. Always is 100% of the time, no exceptions. And never is 0%, total 0. Everything else falls in between. Usually is way up there, maybe 90%. Often is strong too, maybe 70%. Sometimes is right down the middle, a classic 50-50. And rarely is way down at the bottom, like 10%. This chart is basically your cheat sheet for picking the most accurate word. We are almost there. You've got the types, the placement, and the scale. The very last piece of the puzzle is just knowing what not to do. Let's run through a few super common mistakes so you can sound like a total pro. Okay, let's break these down. That first mistake, I eat always breakfast, is a classic placement error. We just learned the rule, right? It goes before the main verb. So, I always eat breakfast. The second one, he is never late always, is just redundant. Never and always mean opposite things, so you just need one. He is never late. And the last one, I don't go never there, is a big one, a double negative. Since never is already a negative word, you don't need don't. Just say, I never go there. All right, let's do a super quick practice run. Your turn. Number 1, I blank check my emails before breakfast. You could put in always, usually, sometimes, totally depends on your habit. For number 2, she is blank late for meetings. Let's hope the answer is never. Number 3, they blank watch TV. Maybe rarely if they prefer reading. And last one, he has blank been to Japan. Never works perfectly here. See? You just plug in the word that tells the right story. You've totally got this. So, to wrap everything up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Right now, think of one thing you always do and one thing you never do. Seriously, answering that question for yourself is the absolute best way to lock this in and make it a natural part of your English. Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point, using these rules to tell your own story.